idea.
Hey everybody, it's me, RunnerEye. And today we're going to be ranking the worst Snatch Game performances in all of Drag Race. So Snatch Game has given us some immaculate celebrity impressions over the years, but it's also given us its fair share of like complete car crash performances. And so I asked you guys over on Twitter and Patreon to give me your favorite worst Snatch Game performances, and I'm going to be putting them into a tier list here today. So let's get right into it. So first up, we have Trixie Mattel doing RuPaul in front of RuPaul.
RuPaul, I wanted to congratulate you on your Hollywood Star of Fame.
Oh, thank you so much, my dear. As we say in the industry, winner, winner, chicken dinner.
Now this is, in my opinion, one of the hardest Snatch Games to watch, specifically because anytime Trixie says anything, the room just falls into like this dead silence. Like it's just crickets the entire time.
Your Miss Jones was not graceful.
I only recently, within the last 2 months, have watched your season of Snatch Game, the All Stars 3 Snatch Game. And
Do we have to talk about it?
Nope, we don't. All I'm gonna say is that I finished the video and I closed the computer and I looked at the wall.
But also what makes this Snatch Game so hard to watch is that Trixie was so hyped going into All Stars 3 and people thought that like Snatch Game was gonna be her challenge.
Great. I'm winning the challenge.
You sound real confident, sis.
I am.
Like that would be the challenge that she would do and like dominate and like win. When you're that hyped up to go into the challenge and bomb as hard as she did, there's like an extra added bit of like, you know, salt in the wound afterwards. And then also there's like the fact that she's bombing in front of the person that she's impersonating and it's like her RuPaul impersonation, which worked well on because like Katya laughs at everything.
Raven, your denim was
So to be doing that impression in front of RuPaul and RuPaul not finding it funny, and it's just like, and then she cries on the main stage later, she literally sobs. But at the end of the day, this is turn off the TV right now. It's really hard to watch, just the entire sequence of events is hard to watch. Like it's terrible. So next up in the season 12 Snatch Game, we have Aiden Zane playing Patricia Quinn.
I don't remember a damn thing.
You don't remember anything.
If you had done as many drugs as I did while filming the Rocky Horror Picture Show, you wouldn't remember either.
Now, this is one of the most infamous Snatch Games for the most hilarious reason. So Aiden Zane decided to play Patricia Quinn for the Snatch Game, who played Magenta in the Rocky Horror Picture Show. And when describing why she wanted to do Patricia Quinn for the Snatch Game, Aiden Zane cited one of the reasons being that she had lunch with Patricia Quinn herself.
She's somebody that I've met personally and I've had lunch with.
Oh, okay, cute.
So like she knew her personally and she wanted to do like the Snatch Game character because of that. And then when she went on the Snatch Game to do the impression, she played Patricia Quinn as like this washed up actress who like had taken so many drugs on the set of the Rocky Horror Picture Show that she like didn't, you know what was going on any of the time and that she was always in a state of confusion, which is bad on its own, but like what makes it 10 times funnier is the fact that Patricia Quinn herself, when she saw this performance done on the show, she spoke out not only against Aiden Zane, but also the show in general because of how disgusted she was with the impression, with her saying, "I was flattered that a young person wanted to portray me on a popular TV show, but unfortunately that's where the flattery ends. I did not respect being described as an old kooky woman or depicted as a washed up actress who has taken too many drugs. I wish Aiden had given me the common courtesy of a heads up and maybe I could have given him some lines, etc. to say on the show." Like most of the times that a celebrity gets badly impersonated on the show, they either one, you know, just ignore it, or they two just like play into it and make a joke about it and say how funny it was, but not Patricia Quinn. But just knowing that like Patricia Quinn hated the Snatch Game so much that she like spoke out against the show just makes the Snatch Game even funnier, and it just like it adds a little bit of spice to it. So next up we have Yara Sofia as Amy Winehouse.
Hey, Amy.
Hi, how are you?
Have you done game shows in England?
Yes, a few once.
Now this is quite possibly the best of the So Bad It's Good Snatch Game performances we've ever had on the show. So on season 3, Yara Sofia decides to do Amy Winehouse as her Snatch Game character, and she was fully convinced that she could do a convincing British accent because she studied the accents in the hit film series Harry Potter.
I've been watching Harry Potter. So
Harry
probably
Potter?
Harry Potter, yeah.
Let me hear some of your English accent.
Can I have some water?
And it's amazing. This is like a hilarious Snatch Game. It's kind of like the Jessica Wilde, you know, RuPaul, where it's just like, it's so insane that it's hilarious. Although, you know, Jessica Wilde did a bit better than the Amy Winehouse that we have here. Like, it has such an earnestness to it, but also like a I don't give a fuck essence about it too. Like, it's just so good. And it was so charming that despite being absolutely horrible of like an impression of Amy Winehouse, it didn't even end up in the bottom. This is a Razzie winner because this is like a once in a lifetime performance that can like never be replicated ever again. So next up we have Gia Gunn as Kim Kardashian on the season 6 Snatch Game.
New vodka, flavored with blank.
I have to go with big black.
Now, people love to cite this one as the worst Snatch Game ever, but I actually disagree. Like, is it good? No. But I don't think it is the worst one like a lot of people think it is. Like, watching it back, I think Gia gets saved by the fact that she doesn't show up that often in the edit. Like, she may have given more answers which were embarrassing and awful, but in terms of like the edit that is shown on the show, she gets like asked like 2 questions, which is like, honestly, that's enough. The fact that we only got to see her very briefly for 2 short times, you know, it kind of minimizes the impact of the bomb. To me, honestly, this is forgettably bad. I don't think about this one too much, to be honest, and it doesn't even like compare to the scale of bombing that is her second Snatch Game, which we'll get onto later. So next up, we have a Snatch Game performance that I couldn't make this video without mentioning, which is Alyssa Edwards playing Katy Perry in the season 5 Snatch Game.
Katy Perry.
Hi, Rue.
Did you really kiss a girl? Have you ever kissed a girl?
Rue, never.
But, yeah.
So Alyssa Edwards decided to play Katy Perry for the season 5 Snatch Game. She did like notoriously bad because she just like, number one, she doesn't make like any jokes. And number 2 is that whenever RuPaul tries to like help her out with the joke by like, you know, throwing her a reference to Katy Perry that she could like, you know, swing and hit, she just like misses. She doesn't even like try and swing and hit it because she doesn't even know that it's like a reference. She just, I guess she didn't know much about Katy Perry, but I think Katy Perry was like big around that time, so she probably was like, I'll just do Katy Perry, but didn't like know anything about her. So then on the main stage during the judging, RuPaul decides to, you know, tell Alyssa Edwards to RuPaul-apologize to Katy Perry on Twitter for doing such a bad Snatch Game impression of her. Like, this is the one and only time in all of Drag Race history that RuPaul has like asked a contestant to issue a formal apology to someone. Although Aiden Zane probably should have done that to Patricia Quinn, to be honest. If you want to hear a more in-depth version of that story, check out my top 10 queens who revolutionized Drag Race video, because I go into it like in excruciating detail in that video. But this Snatch Game is campy as hell. It's really infamous, but in like a good, like, is it really infamous or is it famous? Because like people love this Snatch Game a lot. Like, it's really funny unintentionally. This is like the perfect car crash of a Snatch Game. It is Razzie winning. So next up we have a duo that we're going to be talking about, which is Sugar and Spice's Snatch Game, where Spice played Miley Cyrus and Sugar played Trisha Paytas.
You know what? You can shut it, Jesus Jugs.
Okay.
Bronze Surfer, Lip Syncer, Has Been, Never Was.
Now, Spice tried to do a really inventive take on Miley Cyrus, where for the first half of the Snatch Game, she was like the, you know, Hannah Montana Miley Cyrus, and then the second half, she was like the 2013 bangers Miley Cyrus. But the way that she portrayed both of those characters was like absolutely unhinged. Like one of the most unhinged Snatch Games we've ever seen. Specifically the moment with her and the hammer. Like, what was she going for here? I was gonna say, how is that funny? But I'm also like, it's freaking hilarious. Like, if you watch this and don't laugh, like, how? Like, I can't get, like, it is just so hard to watch, but in like the best way possible. And it was even better that you could see that RuPaul was totally fed up with Spice at this point.
Let's go on down to Miley Cyrus because we have to.
I would say Spice's Miley Cyrus is unintentionally hilarious. And then we have the lesser unhinged of the two, which was Sugar as Trisha Paytas. Again, which wasn't as crazy as Spice's one, but it was still just not, you know, it wasn't very good. It wasn't very Trisha either. Like, Trisha, you have so much good stuff to work with. Like, literally, you have so many quotes that you can work from. Like with Trisha Paytas, you could do like the I've woken up feeling like a chicken nugget thing.
I woke up this morning feeling like a chicken nugget.
You could do like the shallow thing. You could do like her resurrecting herself. No one would get it and RuPaul would hate it, But you could do that if you really wanted to appeal to like the Gen Z viewers out there. So the fact that she didn't do any of that and she just like did a very like plain generic, you know, girl. I guess she did reference the I Love You Jesus thing. Again, another great reference that you could make for Trisha. It didn't reach its full potential. It wasn't as offensively bad as the Spice one was. And I would say Sugar as Trisha Paytas is forgettably bad. So for our next one, we're gonna be going back to Gia Gunn and we're gonna be looking at her second Snatch game, which was Jenny Bowie on the All Stars 4 Snatch game.
Also, you kissing young too, you trashy too.
Baby, this is not your moment. This is not your moment.
And Jenny Bowie is like Cardi B's nail tech apparently. This is like top 3 hardest Snatch games to ever watch. Like this is another one that I really struggle with watching along with Trixie as RuPaul. She doesn't just bomb like on her own, like she does really bad, but she decides that as she's, you know, going down with the sinking ship to grab as many people next to her and drag them down with her, specifically Latrice. And like Latrice was not having it. Latrice broke character to kind of like put her in her place, and Gia Gunn just, you know, Gia Gunn has no place. You can't put her in a place that does not exist. And it's also kind of hilarious that, you know, in both of Gia's Snatch games when she's bombing, she immediately just mentions like dicks. That's immediately where she goes in terms of her humor.
I think underneath is like a man or something, and you looks like you have a big one.
I have to go with big black.
It's going in the turn the TV off right freaking now tier. Next up, we have a 3-way entry into the list. We have Kenya Michaels as Beyonce, Jiggly as Snooki, and Fifi O'Hara as Lady Gaga. So first we'll like delve a little bit into Kenya Michaels, who is Beyonce. Now there is a curse on Drag Race that says anytime that someone plays Beyonce, they, you know, bomb, and it's called the Beyonce curse. And Kenya was the one who really solidified that curse because she was the second person to ever play Beyonce, and this happened.
I wanna take a sweet dream right now.
But Kenya decided to play Beyonce like she had just done 80 lines of coke.
First of all, you've been running around like you did 80 lines of coke.
She's just like one of the 3 main agents of chaos in that front row. Speaking of the front row, let's get to the other 2. We also have Jiggly Caliente as Snooki. And Jiggly was just as chaotic as Kenya because she just randomly decided like halfway through the Snatch game to start like ramming into her fellow contestants for literally no reason. Like, is this a reference to Snooki that I'm not aware of? Okay, so I did some extra research and apparently it's a reference to a South Park episode with like Snooki like parodied in it, but it's so graphic that I can't show you it here, but apparently it's a South Park reference. And as you can imagine, not a lot of people found it funny. Everyone is just kind of like, what the hell is she doing? And it causes just like even more chaos than Kenya was causing, honestly. And then we have Fifi O'Hara as Lady Gaga. And this one is the better of the bunch. It's still not good and it's still like really cringy to watch, but it's kind of like a fun cringe. It's not like, you know, as like crazy as the other 2. But this entire bottom row is extremely infamous just because of the, you know, chaotic performances that were in it, to the point where Latrice got screwed over by people being crazy in Snatch Game, and RuPaul got really annoyed about people like acting, you know, unprofessionally during the Snatch Game, which is really funny. To me, this may be a little bit controversial, but Kenya Michaels as Beyonce is honestly unintentionally hilarious. It's so bad, but it's also so funny to me. Then we have Jiggly as Snooki, which is turn the TV off right now. And then we have Fifi O'Hara as Lady Gaga, which I would just say is memorably bad, but it's only memorably bad because of the little song that she does, the Work It Girl, that little thing.
Work it, girl! Give a twirl! Give a twirl, give a twirl, give a twirl!
Other than that, it's like completely forgettable. Next up, we have, in my opinion, the hardest Snatch Game to watch of all of Drag Race. It's so bad. It's so difficult to watch without turning away or cringing or turning off the TV. It is Asia O'Hara and the Vixen playing Beyonce and Blue Ivy Carter respectively.
Mama, you said a bad word. Shut your mouth.
I did not know Beyonce was that kind of mother. And somebody took on CPS for her girl, because that is not cute.
This is without a doubt, for me, the hardest Snatch Game to watch. It is so difficult. It's such, like, it furthers this idea of the Beyonce curse, actually. I physically cannot handle the cringe which flows through my body whenever I see this. So Asia O'Hara and the Vixen decided to play Beyonce and Blue Ivy Carter because they thought it would be like a good reason to kind of like have like interactions during the Snatch Game and that they could like play off of one another. But the dynamic that they went with is so uncomfortable because they decided to go with this dynamic where Beyonce was like a super strict and mean mother, but basically the entire Snatch Game is just Beyonce being like a borderline abusive character to her, like a baby, it's so bad. And it's like unintentionally really insulting to Beyonce. Like, what did Beyonce do to be depicted like this? I think Beyonce, like Patricia Quinn, Beyonce should have came out and spoke against the show. Both of these are in turn off the TV right now. There's not even a question about it. So next up we have the season 14 Snatch Game. Not even just one character, we have everyone put into it except for Deja Skye. So this is infamously the episode where everyone gets put in the bottom because they did so bad in the Snatch Game. And I couldn't not include it in the tier list. When there's an episode devoted to people bombing the Snatch Game, you can't not include it in the tier list about bad Snatch Game performances. That would be illegal. But this Snatch Game has some notably bad standouts, with my favorite being Willow Pill. I think it's so funny. Her one is so unintentionally hilarious. The E.T. Phone My Home is still a clip I laugh at.
Would you ever do a sequel to E.T.?
I would, but I think it would be R-rated.
What would it be called?
E.T. Phone My Home.
Okay.
It's so bad. It's so bad. I think Angeria's Tammy Brown is also really hilarious in like all the wrong ways. And then you have George's Ilana Glazer. It's just so bad. The little like in-person like boomerang thing. It's so funny.
They kept using this one clip of George's doing this. Did you notice that? George's, she did it twice in a row. It looked like a boomerang. She goes like...
What if we do a speed run and we rank every single one of these Snatch Games like individually? Let's do it right now. So first off, we have Lady Camden's Shakespeare, which honestly isn't even that bad. I don't even really want to put it on the list, so I wouldn't even put it on the list. We're not putting it on the list. Then we have Jasmine Kennedy as Betsy DeVos, which was honestly just forgettably bad. I don't even remember that much of that one. Then we have Angeria as Tammy Brown. Like I said, it's so bad. It's amazing. It's unintentionally hilarious. Then again, we have Georges as Ilana Glazer, which is again unintentionally hilarious. Again, we have another great one. We have Willow Pill as Drew Barrymore. Again, unintentionally hilarious. Then we have Bosco as Gwyneth Paltrow, which honestly wasn't even that bad. I wouldn't even put it on the list. And then we have Diabetti as Ozzy Osbourne, which honestly, again, isn't even bad, so we're not gonna put it on the list. But, you know, those ones that we put up there are absolutely amazing. So that's the tier list. Thank you so much for watching. Please like, subscribe, and comment. It really helps me out. I have a Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. If you wanna go check me out over there, please do. There's also an extended version of this very video on my Patreon where I take suggestions from the patrons about their favorite worst Snatch Games, and then I rank them into the tier list. Again, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye. And now it is that very special time of the week where I give a shout out to Cam, did you just say wig? Bradley McGuigan, Reese Burke, James Burton, Cool Gal Nan, Vincent Gosh Dang Wren, Vern Wisner, Craig Blythe, Brony RuPaul, Valerie with Love, Jabroni, Giovanni JPEG, The Flame Chaser, Cat Chat Uno, Michael, Planet Daniel, The Almighty Anginator, Jim Jamie James Bradshaw, Nico Montano, Ravi Kasari, Eve, Dip, Oliver Wyatt, Yoon Wyatt, Vico Pop, and Tone. Thank you so much to every single one of the patrons. You all help to keep this channel alive. Like, these videos would be a lot harder to make if you were not supporting me. So I thank you, I appreciate you, and yeah, have an amazing day.